Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
November 2, 1920 America, New York, Bed Bath & Beyond will sell its home and baby stuff at Kroger. Attempting to adapt in retail can create some strange bedfellows, like home goods chains and supermarkets.
Time: November 2, 1920 America, New York, CDC panel recommends COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. In a unanimous vote, a committee of independent experts convened by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, today recommended the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for children between the ages of 5 and 11.
RT World News, November 2, 1920 America, New York. Netherlands reintroduces face masks and other restrictions as COVID-19 cases surge. The Dutch government has announced reintroduction of certain coronavirus restrictions, including face masks, citing a new surge in COVID-19 cases. The daily number of infections looks on course to reach pandemic peaks.
World CBS News, com. November 2, 1914 America, New York, inside look at global supply chain crisis. It took months for electronic speakers to travel from a factory in China to a music store in New York amid a global supply chain crisis. Rami Inocencio and Carter Evans followed their journey. World CBS News, com. November 2, 1913 America, New York, Biden unveils global plan to combat climate crisis. President Biden and other world leaders pledged to cut methane pollution by at least 30% and reverse deforestation by 2030. Nancy Cordes has the latest.
Time: November 2, 1910 America, New York, poll watchers flood Virginia as GOP raises doubts about election integrity. The local election office in Lynchburg, Virginia, has been tense for weeks. That's partly because the gubernatorial race between Democrat Terry McAuliffe and Republican Glenn Youngkin has evolved into a neck-and-neck contest that both national parties are watching closely to divine their fortunes in next year's midterms.
World CBS News, com. November 2, 1905 America, New York, attack on Kabul hospital leaves at least 25 dead. ISIS is claiming responsibility for a deadly bombing in Kabul that killed at least 25 people and wounded dozens more.
November 2, 1902 America, New York, Trump's lawyers defend his ability to assert executive privilege ahead of key court hearing. Donald Trump's lawyers are defending his ability to assert executive privilege, even as an ex-president, in a reply brief in his lawsuit against the National Archives and the House Select Committee over January 6 related documents.
World CBS News, com. November 2, 1902 America, New York, why it took months to get electronics from China to the U.S. Electricity outages, worker and truck shortages contributed to delays.
New York Times World News, November 2, 1850 America, New York, with methane and forest deals. Climate summit offers hope after gloomy start. Agreements to reduce methane gas emissions and protect the world's forests were reached Tuesday at the UN-sponsored meeting, as President Biden chided the leaders of Russia and China for not showing up. President Biden at a news conference in Glasgow, Scotland, on Tuesday.
November 2, 1846 America, New York, Virginia exit poll, majority of voters disapprove of Biden. CNN's David Chalian breaks down how voters feel about President Joe Biden according to exit polls in Virginia's gubernatorial election between Democratic Terry McAuliffe and Republican Glenn Youngkin. November 2, 1845 America, New York, the eagle is dozing, Biden appears to doze off at climate summit. An aide woke up President Biden after he dozed off at the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow, Scotland. CNN's Jean Moose reports.
Time: November 2, 1839 America, New York, 30 in 2030, planning for the future. Climate change has been a constant and increasingly urgent issue throughout the lifetimes of those in Generation Z. In the past year alone, devastating wildfires raged in North America, Europe, and Russia. Catastrophic flooding hit Central Europe, and South American countries suffered severe droughts. Time: November 2, 1837 America, New York, 30 in 2030, a generation creating change. It's no secret that mental health was the collateral damage of the pandemic, with illness, loss and financial hardship weighing heavily on billions around the world. Time. November 2, 1833 America New York, 30 and 2030, coming of age during a pandemic. Time spoke to 6 young adults based in places ranging from the Deep South to Singapore who will turn 30 in 2030. They shared their hopes for the future of the planet and what they are doing to make them a reality.
BBC News World. November 2, 1833 America New York, 2 dead after 7-story fall at ABBA tribute concert. Around 1,000 people had gathered at the venue in Sweden before a person fell and hit 2 others.
November 2, 1823 America New York, the gubernatorial race could foreshadow what will happen across the U.S. during next year's midterms. Follow U.S. elections, what to watch for, how to watch. November 2, 1801 America New York, Virginia's race for governor could have national implications. Exit polls. About 1/3 of Virginia voters call economy the most important issue facing state. Exit poll shows. Analysis. What Virginia's election says about the nation. November 2, 1759 America New York. New York health workers ask Supreme Court to block state's vaccine mandate. Health care workers in New York have gone to the Supreme Court to challenge the state's COVID-19 vaccine mandate, arguing it violates their religious liberty rights.
World CBS News, com. November 2, 1754 America New York. CIA director meets in Moscow with top Russian official amid high tensions. The Biden administration has been trying to foster a more stable and predictable relationship with the Kremlin.
November 2, 1742 America New York. Virginia electorate in governor's race looks different from recent elections, exit poll shows. Analysis. What Virginia's election says about the nation. Phil Murphy tries to become first Democratic governor to win re-election in New Jersey in more than 40 years. November 2, 1736 America New York. Zillow to exit its home buying business, cut 25% of staff. Zillow is getting out of the iBuying business and will shut down its Zillow Offers division, resulting in a 25% reduction in its staff.
BBC News World. November 2, 1736 America New York, Cleo Smith. Missing 4-year-old found alive in Australia. Missing 4-year-old Cleo Smith is found alive in more than 2 weeks after vanishing from an Australian campsite.
November 2, 1735 America New York. Missing 4-year-old found by Australian police 19 days after vanishing from campsite. A 4-year-old girl allegedly abducted from her family's tent in remote Western Australia 19 days ago has been found alive.